So during the last outbreak of armed extremism, which of course was the BLM riots of 2020, a former Army sergeant called Daniel Perry was driving for Uber in Austin, Texas. He was an Uber driver. He's in his car and a mob of rioters surround him in the middle of the street and begin hitting his car. One member of the mob was a man called Garrett Foster.
I want to talk about the pending pardon that Gregg Abbott is definitely going to give to this guy who said that he wanted to go shoot Black Lives Matter protesters and then got in his car, ran a red light to get to the Black Lives Matter protesters, jumped out, and shot one.
If that's not a justified shooting, there's no such thing. But because Austin, Texas, the justice system is overseen by a Soros-funded DA, Perry was charged with murder for defending himself. And tonight, we are sad to tell you, this man, a military veteran driving an Uber car, was convicted of murder. And what does that mean? It means that in the state of Texas, if you have the wrong politics, you're not allowed to defend yourself.
But by God, in this state, it's okay, as long as you shoot the right people.
How often do the Fox viewers, for someone, this Black Lives Matter individual had a weapon. Daniel Kelly was in the middle of a crowd in his car. He saw people hitting his car, and basically he defended himself.
Now, the hypocrisy here is astonishing. The guy claims the reason why he shot the Black Lives Matter protester is because he had an AR-15. I thought it was perfectly all right to carry an AR-15 in Texas. They talk about it all the time.
I see that this jury did basically jury nullification, Sandra, because the stand your ground law in Texas allows the use of self-defense. And what you have here, you have a DA who doesn't believe in law and order. He believes in George Soros.
So this is a legal atrocity. It's so obviously unjust that tonight we extended an invitation to the sitting governor of Texas, Gregg Abbott, to come on this show on Monday. And we wanted to ask if he was considering a pardon for Daniel Perry. But for some reason, Governor Gregg Abbott's office told us he just can't make it, and that we should talk to the Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton, instead.
He just had the rifle. And this dude shot him. That's illegal. My fucking God, you can't just shoot somebody.
And Leo, some of the witnesses in this trial testified that Garrett Foster did not actually point a weapon at Daniel Perry before the shots were fired. And the Travis County DA, Soros-backed, he is pouring cold water on Governor Abbott's request for a pardon. Here's what DA Jose Garza, has to say, quote, "In this case, a jury of 12 reached the unanimous decision that Daniel Perry did not kill Garrett Foster in self-defense and was guilty of murder. In our legal system, a jury gets to decide whether a defendant is guilty or innocent, not the governor."
This guy doesn't even claim that this dude was touching him or his car. He claims that other people were, so he shot the guy with the AR-15.
How do you respond to that?
Thank you very much for that question, Bill. I like to sit down with the DA and go through a list of history, court cases. Jury's decisions are not absolute. Jury decisions are reversed all the time. They're modified. They're basically make a rule of error of law. So if that DA is sitting here telling the American public that a jury decision is absolutely correct, I need to throw him back in the 1950s and 60s where jury nullification was done over and over in civil rights cases. He is absolutely 100% wrong about that argument.
This is bullshit. And a jury, incredibly quickly, unanimously came back with a verdict that said this guy murdered the protester. I thought y'all believed in the Constitution. He doesn't know shit about civil rights. And he didn't know shit about Travis County.
He is a George Soros-backed DA, and like I said again, I challenge him to show us how many BLM cases, how many cases of rioting and looting in 2020 did he prosecute? Probably zero.
The Travis County prosecutor prosecuted 40 Black Lives Matter protesters from one night of protesting. 40 from one night. 20 from another night.
How many BLM cases, how many cases of the summer 2020 riots has this guy prosecuted? He is a George Soros district attorney, and the evidence, and once the board of pardons make a decision, Governor Abbott has the legal right to pardon this officer.
There have been scores and scores, perhaps even hundreds. I stopped counting. There was a lot that were prosecuted for things they did in Black Lives Matter protesters. Fox News is just lying. But, you know, Republicans don't care about the Constitution. Republicans don't care about the rule of law. Republicans care about Republicans. And you bet your ass, this guy's a Republican.
So that is Gregg Abbott's position. There is no right of self-defense in Texas. We're going to keep trying to reach the governor of Texas, get his views on that, and the attorney general for that matter.
And we'll have to see how that pardon process plays out. I don't think the defense has really even appealed yet, but obviously more to come on this. Leo Terrell, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you, Leo.
Republicans are just lying. Republicans are hypocritical. Republicans are full of shit. And this story illustrates it so perfectly in every single aspect. A murderer goes free because, you know, MAGA! Fuck you, Republicans. I'm Zachariah, one-star liberal. Y'all take it easy.